You want? I think. Let's start out with Tokyo Revengers this week.
What?
Yeah, cause I know you.
Start with the
You have
season
some stuff.
finale?
Yeah,
That's blasphemy.
it's all right.
If anything, we should finish off with Tokyo Revengers.
Nah,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Herbal Synergies, the shop. I'm your host, Sinji. With me, my co-host, Bay.
what up?
What's up, Herbie? How you doing today, brother?
I'm cool.
Cool like
Can't
a
complain.
breezy day?
Cool like a cucumber and a fresh garden salad.
That sounds lame.
You're lame.
Whatever.
Hmm.
I prefer cucumbers and pickles, but still sounds lame.
Well, cucumber
Yes.
is a
Yep.
pickle.
Yep. Well, pickle is a cucumber, but more disgusting.
Yeah, and some people say the cucumber tastes better pickled.
Yeah. Some people also like pickled eggs.
Yes, and people like pickled pig's feet, which is gross, but hey,
Ew, I've never heard of that. That sounds gross. But
mm,
hey,
it's gross
flavor of the
looking.
week, flavor of the week, and I don't know if you saw the title of our last video, and it was literally what we were debating on whether the
Yeah,
fight between Rimuru and Clayman was gonna be short or fast. I was right. Flavor of the week, Rimuru whooping fucking Clayman's ass in like 3 minutes.
it was 4 minutes and 34 seconds.
Damn, even better. Well, are you counting the moments he was talking, or just like when he started
I'm
attacking?
counting when Clayman died. It got absorbed. It was 4 minutes and 34 seconds.
It took him 4 minutes to absorb him.
Yes, to the point where Clayman doesn't exist. But the actual fight wasn't long. So,
Mm.
yep, I wrote that down, the timestamp, because I was like, yeah, 4 minutes, 34 seconds.
Oh, you wrote down the timestamp.
Yeah.
I'm talking about how long the fight lasted.
The actual fight didn't last long, but
At all, yeah, no.
if you start from start to finish, it was 4 minutes and 34 seconds.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, my flavor of the week though is I'm gonna go with my girl Maki this week. Who she pulled? Yeah, that was a kind of heavy chapter, but she basically wiped out the whole Zenin clan except for her and Fushiguro. So she was chopping heads off and arms off, and couldn't nobody stop her. So yeah, that's
That's a
my
good
flavor of
one.
the week.
That's a good
Yep,
one.
we'll get more into that later. But yeah, so what are you dying to get into?
Well, I have a friend, the one that's watching One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
She, granted, she tried to get me to watch this a while ago, but like finally got me to watch this anime called Your Lie in April.
Mm-hmm.
This fucking thing, though it doesn't get me emotional, is a fucking emotional roller coaster.
Very interesting.
It's like, and it's heavily revolved around music and like love and things like that. I'm like 3 episodes away from finishing it. So apparently, I think I predicted the end through some foreshadowing in like earlier episodes. So if what the I think the end is happens, I don't think it'll get me. But she's waiting to see if it'll get me. We'll see. I don't know.
I don't think it'll get you either because you don't have emotions like that. So
Go ahead, say what you want to say, Irby.
what?
Say what you want to say.
Man's heartless.
Motherfucker tiptoeing around what he wanted to say. Piece of
Nah,
shit.
I just said it wasn't gonna get you like that because you don't have emotions like that.
What about you, Irby? Anything you're like dying to delve into?
Hmm. I could dive into a whole bunch of stuff, but yeah. Let's see here. You want? I think. Let's start out with Tokyo Revengers this week.
What?
Yeah, cause I know you.
Start with the
You have
season
some stuff.
finale?
Yeah,
That's blasphemy.
it's all right.
If anything, we should finish off with Tokyo Revengers.
Nah, it ain't that serious.
I already started reading this. It's not a finale for me.
Mm, well, I'll be excited to look at it next year.
I'm like 2 or 3 volumes deep after the last episode.
Yeah, I'll get into it when it comes back in 2022.
Or three. What if it doesn't get a follow up?
Then I'll end it like I did The Sopranos with the gunshot, and you don't know what happens.
Damn.
Yep. So
Hmm.
yeah.
So
So you take the reins on this.
long story short, because it's not a real exciting episode until you get to the end. Takamichi gets appointed First Division commander, and he goes back in the future to see if he's changed anything, and he's a top exec in Toman. He's the shit, which
Yeah.
always begs like it always like just proves like it's like the only way you can actually change something I feel is if you just stay your ass in the past because other you probably keeps fucking shit up.
Yeah. I do feel like it should be said that Valhalla still got assimilated into Toman, and Kisaki still like brokered it. So stuff like that. And yeah, and Chifuyu was supposed to take Baji's place, but then Chifuyu was like, nope, we'll give this to Takamichi and I'll follow him. Could I choose to follow him? So yeah,
Yeah, he was kind of
nothing
he
too
was just
excited
gifted.
happened.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
gifted in the first spot. So yeah, we go back into the future and Chifu picks up Takamichi. No, it wasn't Chifu. Takamichi was in the rent shop as always when he goes back,
Yeah,
and
his I can't think of the boy's name.
one of his childhood friends,
It's like Yashiroshi or something. I don't know.
I don't
Can't
know,
think of it.
picked him up in the car. Driver drove him to his place, and he's still trying to process everything that's going on. Still hasn't occurred to him that like he is a top exec in Toman. Then Chifu, when they finally get up to their suite where he's staying, the penthouse or whatever, Chifu grabs him and is like, "Hey, we gotta go. Top meeting for top execs, and you're one of them. Well, let's go." So we get to see some familiar faces and some new faces. Parent
Pachan.
Pachan, yeah, we had Pachan. There's Smiley McBeata beat someone ass. I think he was there,
Yeah.
and Pachan's right hand man was there. And then we had some Black Dragon members. Well,
Yeah.
actually, the one guy is a Toman member, but he leaves Toman to join the Black Dragons, and
Yeah.
I just
So
don't know how that camp comes about. But the guy with the mark on his head, he was Mitsuya's right hand, I think.
I don't know. I didn't pay too much attention to it.
Because you see him in the fight where Baji died. He was clearly
Yeah.
fighting on Toman's side.
Yeah.
But
So
in that particular episode, who was it? Who's the guy? 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 I'm so bad with names, Irby. You need help.
you are.
All right, fuck it.
I,
We have the Toman members, and we have I think what Black Dragons or who the younger crew,
yeah, the younger people are the Black Dragons that are in there.
and Kisaki shows up. And everyone stands up and bows to him, and Takamichi, being confused as hell, just stays sitting down. And he's like, Kisaki's like, could you guys um, spare me a moment, whatever? And he goes off on his reel and is like, I feel bad about killing Baji, blah blah blah. I've been trying to make amends all this time. I understand you hate me, blah blah blah. I don't expect you to forgive me. Would you at least share a drink with me? Now I want to
Yeah.
pause right here. Under any circumstance, if you have someone that you don't trust and you define as an enemy, you sharing a drink with that person?
Well, to be fair, um, it was prefaced before he was saying he was sorry for all this stuff and he didn't mean it for Bloody Halloween to do like that. And that's why Takamichi was like, "Oh, Kisaki's changed in this future or something's different." So you kind of could understand, but like me, I might not drink. I might just be like, "Oh, let me take," I wouldn't drink a whole thing. Like I might fake sip with the toast. But I kind of knew something was up when they showed them two drinking, but Kisaki didn't even drink his.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, "Yep,
And I was like, oh, it's drugged.
yeah," or poisoned or something.
So
So
they fade out. When they fade back in, they're both tied to a chair. Chief Yu's been beaten to shit. And fast forward a little, Kisaki saying there was a mole, presumably it's Chief Yu and Takamichi, and then he just straight up shoots Chief Yu,
yeah,
and then we end the episode with him shooting Takamichi.
yeah. Well, that would be the second time if he did shoot him. But the first time he shot Takamichi in the leg, and Chifu was like, "You gotta save Toman again." So I feel like he knows something that like Takamichi can go back in time or whatever. So I feel like we're gonna get introduced to his second way of going back into time, which might be like extreme duress or something. Not sure.
So like the first way he went back in time.
Yeah, initially. So, but who knows? But
But
yeah, but yeah,
well written
um,
story, man. I like the story. I like it a
yeah.
lot.
Kisaki, he wanted power and praise. That's why he did what he did.
Kisaki's ruthless, man.
Mind you, someone else I know.
He knows something.
Yeah, why did he cry at the end? That was weird. He's
I
like
don't,
hero, and then he cried and then shot him.
yeah, he knows. Kisaki knows something. I don't know how he knows something, but he knows something. I'm like, I don't trust Kisaki.
He got little shifty eyes, like someone else I know.
I don't like the implications.
Wow, well. But anyhow, so what you want to get into? Some slime, or you want me to get into Tower of God or Tower of Betrayal?
Nah, you might as well get into Tower of God, because if we do slime now, then it would be like you. I usually let you take the lead on Jujutsu Kaisen, and then you'll have Tower of God. So it would be like it
Mm,
would go from us talking to just you talking and me listening.
yeah, that's how it always is. You're a great listener. You know that.
I am a fantastic listener.
You're one of our valued listeners. But anyhow,
Wow.
they're so they get to see the real Hell Train, and Pororo Po, the train city administrator. He was a regular before he ended up working on the train, and your Uraha was the sole reason that he wants to cooperate, and the train captain wants to cooperate. So Uraha tells one of her subordinates her true intentions, and then Uraha makes it to the entrance. Bam makes it to the entrance by going down the train shaft. I forget the way I think he called it like the path the train takes. I'm like, bro, it's just a train shaft. Go on there.
You mean the elevator?
Yeah, but the elevator's broke, but he jumps down the train shaft.
No, he traveled the path the elevator takes, the elevator
Yeah,
shaft.
yeah. The
You're
elevator
confusing me,
takes.
bro.
Yeah, you stay confused, but Anyhow, so then Uriha has a remote for the Guardian. So she turns it on, and then Bam and Horwin get through, but everyone else has to fight the Guardian. And then we find a little bit about Daniel Hathchild. He's strong as three of his companions put together. And while the Guardian defends, Bam gets through his attack, and Akka is going to throw. Akka threw Boro through the gate, and so Uriha's companion, she she has him stop and fight Bam, but then Boro shows up, and then Daniel comes down to fight Bam. He wants to see what he's made of. And Rand has an idea to get past the Guardian to make a path, but it's contingent on if Akka can help make a path. And then Daniel starts to fight Bam, and Bam accepts a bet again. But so a little bit about this. Daniel also has a remote to turn off the Guardian, so he makes a bet with Bam to get the remote, or he can let her go. So Horiyun chases after the woman Yuriha to go through. And yeah, this kind of a masterful fight. Bam mixes a whole bunch of stances and skills he learned basically by getting beat up. He learned their attacks and their ways and what to do. And Akka has a control skill called combustion, which is pretty cool. It gets hot and deactivates all attacks from his opponent. And now this is the part I thought was interesting. The Kun family is supposed to be a family of like spear bearers. So I was like, huh, why doesn't Kun actually have a spear and he just carries around a bag? So that's kind of weird, don't you think?
It's because he likes to be in control of everything.
Hmm.
He said it earlier. He was like, "I'd rather be the light bearer because that way I'm in charge."
I don't recall. Hmm. That was probably the days before it was getting good.
Either way, I think he'll mention it again in the near future.
It's quite possible. Nothing is uncertain. But anyway, then Hong, the guy that Boro's fighting, has a holy sword, and it's made of an ancient beast, and the sword is seven of them. Essentially, they're like the seven dwarf swords. And so Boro, I actually like his character. He has fluid martial arts, which allows him to read movement with Shinshui, and then he almost kills Hong. So then he asks Hong what made him want to help Yuriha, and we get the story how everything was taken from her. And there's apparently a place on the train where you could turn back time and get stuff. And then Daniel says Bam has always fallen into their trap, which is cool, I guess. Anyhow, and the Guardian, we found out the Guardian's an illusion, but he's like a real thing, or I forget the term that said it's like illusionary there or something. I probably wrote it down later. Then my boy Rand gets clapped. I was like, man. And then Rachel's other teammate comes down as soon as Uriha gets caught. And this woman from Rachel's team eats people, which is kind of weird, but that's all right. So Boro says that the one thing about the Hell Train, you can't get anything on Hell Train, but one thing for sure is it's like an endless hell. So I was like, huh, this is a terrible train that everyone wants to be on. And Daniel wants to go back to hell. Hmm.
Well, they're all trying to get back on hell. It's the hell train.
Yeah, I'm not finna go to hell.
Damn,
Yeah,
my man rather do the floor levels.
yeah. And what else did? Yeah, for some reason she tells him that they fell in the trap, and the reason they fell in the trap is because like for some reason Rachel has to be followed. Don't know why Rachel has to be followed, but that's why they leaked the intel and the moments and stuff. And Emily's able to Rashba and Emily is able to control people and create artificial paths that like even the guys can't read. Flashback to Bam's fight. Daniel's Swinshoe control uses living souls. He's a necromancer. He's kind of weird. And I don't understand why they switched from needle to thorn. Bam, is it because it got bigger? Because he grew up? Is that it?
You, you don't understand why the size of the thorn changed?
Well, they called it a needle in the earlier ones, and then they switched to thorn.
Well, the thorn is it's okay. So you remember what the thorn is, right?
Yeah, it's the one guy's culmination of power in the needle.
Yeah. So like, Bam has Bam kind of absorbed it, I guess. So like, it's if it was a weapon, it is now just part of Bam's power.
Hmm. Yeah. So all right, but Bam can only use the thorn once a day, and to max it out in 20 minutes, he should only use it actually use for 10 minutes, and that's his current body can handle that much. And then we find that Bora knows Daniel, and apparently Daniel was supposed to be dead, but he's resurrected. And then Daniel said he wants to go back to her. Who was her? And then they mentioned the name Rowan. And apparently Bora is over 200 years old or older. He might be like 240. I don't know. Their lifespans are weird.
Mm-hmm.
Then Horion is beat down and Beta shows up and kicks the Guardian. And then we get to see Team Sweet and Sour to the rescue. And that little girl, she got a little older. I was like, who's this tall girl? And I was like, oh, it's that little girl. And then she like, I guess her skills she can analyze and realize that it's an illusion being um, activated by the door. And then Ram gets up and defeats the Guardian after they get the Guardian off of him. So, but yeah, so that was all the Tower God. Did you
You're getting
get in?
so close.
Yeah, I still got a whole bunch to go.
Did I
Did
what?
you? Hmm?
Did I what?
Did you get into Boruto this week?
Hell no. I got into Dragon
Dang.
Ball,
Dang.
which was
Mm.
really not much to get into.
Oh, I felt like there's a whole lot to get into with Dragon Ball.
At the very end, yeah, I guess.
Hmm. But yeah, quick Naruto rundown. Basically, the guy that lost Kawaki said that Boruto is stupid and he didn't go anywhere silly. And Kawaki runs away. He runs into code. Kawaki left on his own free will. So it's kind of like, oh, why did he actually run away? He goes to sacrifice himself. And so that Kona will be unharmed. And then he gets beat up anyway. And he says you're not going to kill him because that lady wants to see him. And he wants to get the divine fruit code does. The tree going. But what made me mad about this was why didn't Naruto just use Sage mode to sense where Kawaki went? Like he could have cut all that out if he just would have went Sage mode because he's able to sense things in Sage mode. So he would have found where he was at, snatched him up, and then Boruto would have to come in and kick code. So yeah, that's what made me mad about that. I was like, really?
Are you sure Kawaki
I,
wasn't too far?
well, Naruto sensed people to fighting all over when he went into Sage mode before.
But it's like in the vicinity though. Like I think it's about the size. I think his ability to sense people is about the covers about the village, the size of the village.
Well, I'm not sure because when he was on that turtle on that island, like they had flashes from like groups that like far away from Hidden Cloud and such.
Hmm.
So I don't know, but I feel like even Kawaki was close to the in the village where you still could have sensed him.
Perhaps.
Yeah, but flimsy writing. Another reason why.
I
It's
might
probably
I might pick it back up when time skip happens.
nah. You won't. You gonna be doing other things.
You right, but I might pick it back up.
Lies.
I
You ain't
just
gotta
I
lie.
just crammed the whole anime. I'm 3 episodes away from finishing it.
Mm, damn. But anyhow, get into Dragon Ball Super.
So Vegeta and um Granola's fight continues, and Granola is actually improving while Vegeta is pushing his limits, and the fight keeps pressing on. And when it looks like Granola is about to finish off Vegeta, boom, Goku comes in for the save, and then Goku's ready to tag team Granola with Vegeta. Vegeta actually hits Goku, and he's like, "Stay out of
Kicks
this."
the boy. Mm-mm-mm.
So basically, even though Vegeta was trying to talk sense into Granola, he was also still willing to take the punishment, if you will, to atone for what the Saiyans did to his area.
Yep.
And
It's kind of
at
like what he did with what's that guy's name? The young Saiyan.
Kappa,
Yeah, like how he kept calling him stuff and names, and he's like, "Oh, you did it," and then he proceeds after he turns Super Saiyan, proceeds to whoop his arse.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
So it continues, and like just as Granola is about to finish off Vegeta, that Namekian that is on Granola's side shows up, and he's like, "They're not our enemies," and he like name drops the one Saiyan who saved them, and it was Bardock.
yeah, um,
I'll say, "Oh, we just brought Goku's father back into the picture."
yeah. So I think another thing that was kind of cool, I guess, was how he flashed back to him as a young child when the Saiyans were in there. He got to see his mother, but I feel I feel like he while Vegeta was talking about like repeating history, like he was trying to get him to stop his madness. But I think Oatmeal, like, do you think he recognized that like Goku looked like Bardock?
Mm-hmm. Because
And he,
Goku is a spitting image of his dad.
but the other thing I also found was funny too was like Goku's hair wasn't always like that. Like his grandpa Gohan had to shave it off to like help him after he fell and hit his head when he was a baby. So so if it wasn't for that, then you might not even been through this chapter. So it's they do weird stuff, how to tie stuff in together.
Nah, I think Goku's hair has always been like that.
No, when he got hurt in Dragon Ball, they had to shave it off. Well, Gohan shaved it off because he had a nasty cut.
Yeah, but like his hair still grew back into that form.
Their hairs normally don't when they cut it. That's when it's done. Like it doesn't grow back out. Like that because that's the other like their hair. Like if you notice, like they never get haircuts. Like the only Saiyans that get haircuts are the half breeds.
Hmm.
Like like when Trunks was in his
Are you saying
future
kid?
Trunks.
Are you saying Goku had even more wild hair before he went to Earth?
Yeah, I think it kind of looked similar to Raditz, but like it's the thing is like with Dragon Ball Z, like they kind of just changed the hair whenever and whatever suits them. Like when he was a baby, like the first time I remember when he got it when Grandpa Gone shaved his head to help him or whatever, it looked differently. And then like after that, like that's how his hair looked like how it is today,
Hmm.
which is which is weird because like I think Radish may have mentioned something about his hair too because they were brothers, but it's weird. But yeah, they just changed what they want to do to make sense where they want to make it sense. But anyhow,
Yeah, they do. Dragon Ball does it all the time. A few animes do it. It's like there's things that just don't make sense in like a lot of anime.
yeah, and this is one of them that changes it. But yeah, because Gohan gets haircuts, um,
Cause
Trunks
like
get haircuts.
there was that one time, like, all right, so in Dragon Ball Z, when yeah, cause you know what, Goku and Gohan, Vegeta, and Trunks all went to hyperbolic time chamber, but only Trunks and Gohan came out with longer hair.
Yeah,
But in Super, when Goku and Vegeta went to hyperbolic time chamber, they came out with beards, like full grown beards.
yeah. So it's weird. Like it because when they came out before, Goku didn't have no beard, so I don't know what the deal is. Like they just it's not consistent.
They're just like, oh, you know what? Let's give him a beard.
Yeah,
Let's pretend they were grooming themselves the last time, and like this time they decided not to groom themselves. I'm like, what?
yeah, pretty much. I don't know. I could just be making it all up. Great talking points though, you know?
I feel you. I feel you. Okay,
Yeah.
so slime,
Yeah, we getting the slime.
slime.
That time I got reincarnated as a slime.
Remy was such a fucking badass man.
Yeah. So it opens up with Rimuru talking to Clayman, and Clayman intends to attack and then flee in like the dust debris. So Rimuru absorbs it like a sponge, sucks it up, and then he asks him who gave him his orders. And then he proceeds to beat on him for a little while. Then he swallows up Clayman's ultimate attack, and he beats him on him again like he's Batman. And Clayman won't give any information. So, and then he eventually just absorbs him, kills him up. And then we find out that Valentine was actually disguised as a maid, Luminos. And they find out about Kazaleen. He's a curse lord.
My thing is, Rimuru pointed all this out when he first showed up and noticed them coming in, but still acted very surprised when it got brought out in the open.
I think it had more so to do with the way that Valdora and Malene was like so willy nilly about it because obviously she wanted to be hidden for a reason, and then Valdora was like, "Oh, Demon Lord so and so, do you want to let your attendee or whatever do this for you?" And she's like, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know." Like she was presenting herself as a Demon Lord. Why do you think that is, Sir Valdora?
And
So I
I'm
don't know.
wondering why. I don't feel like she went into the reason why she was in hiding.
I don't think she did either, but we'll find out here soon. Hopefully. I don't know. We won't because I think this was the season edit episode.
Oh, you think that was the season finale?
Yeah, because just the way that he was like, yeah, at the end, he was like, I'm Rimuru Tempest. And da 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 da. So I'm like, oh,
I,
this is kind of giving me end of season vibes.
I feel like nah. I feel like it was like beginning of new story vibes.
Well, I don't know, only for the fact that because they started doing the first half of the season and then they like stopped it and then they came back I'm gonna say maybe like a year later. So I don't know. This could be the end. It couldn't be the end. I don't know. Maybe this is like mid-season finale type deal.
Hmm.
So
We'll see.
we shall see.
Yeah,
But then,
we'll see.
yeah, we also got into Frey. Frey wants to relinquish her status as a demon lord and serve Maline.
So does Carrion.
Yeah, I'm saying Carrion wants to serve Maline. I loved how they did the Mike Guy smile for him. It was like, "Ka-cling." That's funny. Yeah, and then comes up with the name, the eight demon lords, Octogram.
I feel like them writing Frey and Carrion under Milim is just their way of saying like, hey, we can't have everyone submit to Rimuru, but like Milim is gonna be spending a lot of time uh
Tempest.
in Tempest, so are they.
Yeah, and then the other fairy, Romerus, she's gonna be in there too. So yeah, party. Yeah, then the clown Laplace beats up the attendee and takes his core. So I think he was a homunculi at the end. Yeah, so then we get that warm and fuzzy scene between Rimuru and all his compatriots. And that's why I was saying it felt like it was the end of season type deal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at the end it did say to be continued. So they didn't give a next time episode with the title.
Alright, we'll see. I mean, I won't mind if the season ended because it'll give me time to collect the mangas.
Mm-hmm.
Because the anime was actually ahead of the physical copies of the mangas. I could have read it digitally, but I'd rather just read the physical book.
Mm-hmm. So
And
you're old
unfortunately,
school,
Tokyo
huh?
Revengers doesn't have physical manga.
Huh. Well then.
Yeah, I've been searching.
Well, not the worst thing in the world.
Okay, so Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yes. Oh man. Let's get into this. I'm rubbing my hands together. Can you hear it?
Yeah, I did hear it.
Okay. That means it's getting good, boy. So it starts off by talking about artificial cursed corpses and how they're made and what's given to them. Um, Basically, you create a cursed corpse, you give them some energy. However, Panda's like self-supporting, and Yuga, the guy that creates them, kind of pretends like he didn't know how Panda was made. And then Panda was captured in order to lure Yuga out. But Panda is set free by his boy Q, Kusabe. And then so you kind of get a backstory of some little kid named Takaru. And I'm assuming that's like he put a curse, he did the memories of some child and put him in a cursed tool doll or something. Yeah. Then Yaga proceeds to get beat down by the principal, and they want to know how it's made. And he tells them how it's made after the beatdown. You have to take soul information from a physical and being or entity, and then input the information in the cursed corpse core, and then they have to be highly compatible, and you have to have them constantly observe each other. So
Yeah, three souls, which
yeah, three souls.
Panda has lost one, I believe, unless Homeboy put another one in him. So,
I,
do you
yeah, I think he
think like
lost one, but they never said if he got it back.
so? Do you think if he loses the second one, that like he won't be a self sufficient?
Yeah, he'll need curse energy to sustain himself. So I don't know how long he would actually survive. So, but yeah, then Panda comes in and observes Yaga's death, and then I'm not sure, but I think Yaga put a curse on the principal because he said like that knowledge is a curse or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then this starts my girl made a visit.
Oh,
Maki visit Naoyo Zenin, and Naoyo Zen used to bully Maki, and then Maki visits the warehouse where she finds her finds her sister Ma beat up by her father, and the father emptied the vault. And we also find that the higher ups and the clans and stuff are planning to use Rule 2 about freeing Satoru Gojo as a criminal act, which I thought makes zero sense because why would he be in the Shibuya incident and then seal himself?
Hmm.
You know, like
Yeah,
if
but
you,
like I didn't really catch it.
oh, dang. Mm. Well, your thoughts on that? What do you think about that, sir? Does that make sense to you as a logical person?
Hold on, I'm sorry. Cat jumped on my lap, but he didn't jump right, so he was about to fall and like dug all. I want to say dug a solid 10 nails into my leg.
Hmm. Well then,
Oh, okay. Ow.
but yeah,
What am I
okay. I
commenting
guess
on again?
I was talking about how the higher ups thought that like Gojo was part of the incident when he sealed himself, got sealed himself in the thing. So that they were talking about it's a criminal incident if you try to set him free. And I was thinking, what do you think about that? It makes absolutely zero sense as a logical person, right?
No, it's just yeah. I think the higher ups in the jujutsu world just don't like the way Gojo goes about life and any reason to make him a non important figure in the world.
Yeah,
My poor
yeah.
leg.
Mm.
I love
But
Maki though.
yeah, she's probably one of my favorites. I'm glad she didn't die and glad it was no Bora, but still. Um, Shamaki Will is Ajuzo Kamiya's masterpiece, Cursed Tool, Dragon Bone. And this is why I was like, oh, she broke his sword. And he his sword wasn't broken, but he basically defeats her real quick. And he said he couldn't be the head of the clan because his children are worthless, which is terrible. And then he proceeds to blame his children more for himself not being the head. Calls Maki a stain on his life. And we also find that twins are inauspicious, which are not which means not conducive to success or are unpromising. And we find out that to gain something, you must offer something. And curse techniques for twins, for identical twins, they treat them as like one individual. So they both should have had the same curse technique or no technique at all. So that was weird, but that also leads into something else. And the Mai tells Maki that basically she's holding her back, like because they're supposed to be as one. If Maki wanted to be better and she was getting better, then Mai would be better and she was getting better. But Mai didn't want to get better. She was kind of complacent, so she's holding
Yep.
her back, and then she proceeds to die. And this is when the whole new Super Saiyan level 1 Maki shows up.
Now, would you consider that depth suicide?
I feel like she was already dying anyway, so it might be like a Baji situation because they were going to die anyway if it wasn't those sorcerers, not sorcerers, the grade 2 techniques or whatever those curses were. They were going to eat them anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so she just did it early,
Yo,
and
but
that
Maki went fucking in, bro. Like,
yeah,
she just started slaughtering everyone.
yes, her father called it the worst, and she basically turned into Toji Zenin. So
She might end
He,
up being better to him because she's still young.
yeah,
They were saying her presence was just like his, and he was.
yes,
I think he was a fully grown
he was
man.
like 30 old because he had I'm gonna say he's like 25 to like 30 because he had like Megami.
Mm-hmm.
Megami was like 6 or something. Don't know his age, but yeah, I was like, yeah. And then so I was like, oh, slices his head off. I was like, is he really dead? I don't know. And then we find that the Kuriku members of the Kuriku unit, members of the males from the clan that do not possess curse technique, come to fight her, and she just goes chopping arms off, goes on a rampage, cuts heads off, everything. Like they didn't stand a chance. I might have looked at her and ran the other way. I would have said, not today, Satan.
And then their
No.
top Jujutsu sorcerers came out,
Oh, but she also did this because Mai told her to
destroy everything.
burn everything down. So kind of, kind of, she might be the female Itachi.
She just wiped out her
Mhm.
whole clan.
She did, except for her and her. I would call them cousins, I guess. Not sure where Toji Zenin fits in, but they're kind of related, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't know. But yeah, slaughters them. So then we find a little bit about the sin of the insignificant is ignorance of strength. And we also find that in exchange for Mai's life, Maki gained she gained her body is pretty much hard as steel, and she got even faster. And I kind of was reflecting on how Yuji can harden his body with curse energy. So I was like, are they one and the same? Because like he already had like physical physical strength without the use of curse energy because he really didn't know what it was, so he ate the finger.
That's true. You know what? Yuji's always been really strong. Do you think he's also? Do you think because he eats Sukuna's fingers that he has the best of both worlds?
See, I didn't know. I was thinking because he basically threw a shot put like a baseball, and you just don't do that without blowing your shoulder out.
That's what I'm saying. Like like he, you know what? Yuji might be the best of both worlds.
Yeah, because he has the physical, heavenly blessed strength, and then he has all this cursed energy that he doesn't know what to do, and that could be he didn't know what to do because as a person that didn't know curse energy or couldn't use curse energy, like he was still figuring out curse energy as a whole.
Hmm.
So I was like, huh,
Well, look at that.
yeah.
So
So
moving on.
yeah, then Maki goes and she kills her mom, and then well, she doesn't kill her mom. She kind of beats her up, and then her mom comes back and kills Naoyo.
I
That
wonder
was
why.
his inner boy.
That's the one thing I didn't understand. I was like, wait, why did she kill him?
I don't know, but then um, she then proceeds to massacre everybody that was away from the clan house. So yeah, everyone's dead.
Yep, the Zenin clan is done.
Yeah, and then they go to so we flash back to Megami and Yuji, and they go find Hakuri at the Underground Fight Club. My man Megami is a bluff artist. He gets his way into the fighting in the arena. The boss selects Yuji to fight though because he doesn't like Megami for some reason. So, but basically to get in a fight, there's like two rules. There's no curse techniques and there's no running
Running away.
away.
Yep.
And then
Let's fast forward a little bit before I
hmm,
forget. When did my man Megami learn how to come out of shadows?
I don't know, but I had that in here because I didn't want to forget that because I was like, man, that was cool.
I went back and forth like a few times. I'm like, nah, he's definitely coming out of the shadow.
Yeah, shadow travel. But but yeah. So my man usually fights Panda, and it's all staged, and his Panda, and Panda's like, "Oh, the Animal Welfare Society will be hearing about this." I thought that was funny. Panda's funny,
I thought
but
him playing with the tire was funny.
yeah, that was funny too. But then Carrara's curse technique, no one knows, but you can't get close to the door. And then here's where I love how Megumi's using shadows. Yeah, like I guess that it kind of, I don't know, his domain, and I think there's a lot to Megami we still don't know about.
Hmm.
So
Well, he's still developing as a sorcerer, so
yeah,
maybe because like his domain isn't complete, but his shadow garden, like maybe that has something to do with his new
well,
ability.
I did think about it too. Like, remember how he could pull swords out of a room?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's the same ability, but like he figured out how to do it for himself.
Oh, you think he figured out how to enter that room?
Well, like, because I think Maki had him in a storehouse, and he would go grab him out the storehouse, and he would pull him back in, or like weapons he needed. So like maybe he realized that I can pull myself in and out, kind of like Obito does.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It's a cool ability. So, and then I also did have another thought, like, what if Gojo was an actual twin? And my basis for this was I'd seen a clip, and well, not it was just a random video I watched, and it was how one fetus had eaten the other fetus, and like the little girl, she had like memories of them being together with her older brother in there, and she was like, oh, I'm glad you ate me because I want to come back a boy. And then so I got this premise, like, what if that's how the six paths happen, where Gojo gets the eyes and then the cursed ability. What do you think about that?
I think it makes sense, but I also think you're reaching. Nah.
You never know.
Hey man, hey listen.
It could be like that.
It could be like that. I've seen weirder things in anime.
Yeah. Who knows? We'll never know.
In
But yeah.
the non-canon Broly movies, Broly's hatred stems from Goku crying too much.
Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. But yeah.
But so
Who knows?
what do you have?
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to next week?
What I'm looking forward to next week. Hmm. Not Tokyo Revengers.
Yeah,
Um.
yeah. Is it time we start thinking about a replacement?
Yep.
What was next on the list? What was after?
Don't know. I got a list
Shit, we
here
might have to
though.
replace slime too.
Yep. But we got plenty of time to do that. Yeah. I guess I'm looking forward to seeing more of Jujutsu. What happens in that?
Yeah, it's the art style is really good. It's being drawn
Did you
very
did
well.
you did you notice how like for a few chapters or a few pages it
The
looked
shit got
absolutely
messy.
terrible?
Yeah, it got.
Yeah.
I
I was
I noticed at the bottom of the panel, it was just like, what's different about this? I was like,
no like I looked at it, I was like, what's going on? Like, are these like not the true pages?
when
Like,
Maki was going crazy.
yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe she's just moving at high power speed.
she distorted the the space.
Yeah, that fight she did have with Naoyo, that was a good one. She figured out his weakness and was like, oh, if you touch him with over palm, we both move at the same speed. And so I don't think he realized that she realized that, and then so bam. knocked him out.
But it said that like if you don't match that speed, you freeze. But like, do you have to match it immediately, or did she have? I didn't understand how she didn't get frozen
I don't know. She learned something.
and fucked them up. Yep,
She did. But yeah,
she gave him
I'm
that
looking
Luffy
forward to
punch, man.
Jujutsu. I don't know about a Luffy punch.
She gave him that Luffy punch. She left her handprint in
That's
the side of his
blasphemous.
skull.
Don't you ever compare Maki to Luffy. Never.
What?
Yeah.
Luffy would fuck Maki up.
Maki would cut Luffy to pieces.
Nah, she ain't quick
Yeah.
enough.
She fast enough.
She ain't quick enough.
Mm-hmm.
Luffy has foresight.
Maki has heavenly god powers.
But he has foresight.
Don't no one care. Luffy's a bum.
Whatever.
Hope he drowned on dry land.
All right. Any non One Piece related final statements, Herbie?
Nope. I can't make no One Piece statements. You took the way the better part of me. So,
Guys, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, you name it. Find us, share us, listen. That's Irbal Sinergy, IRBAL SINERGY. Thanks so much for listening. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace.
peace.